We have another preseason game to recap. Again, against the Thunder. How do the starters play after receiving increased minutes? And if we have some time, we'll rummage through the Sicko Satchel. That's all today. Locked On Hornets.
You are Locked On Hornets, your daily Charlotte Hornets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
In a minute, cuz we live.
It's Locked On Hornets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Thanks for making us your first listen. We're free and available anywhere you get your podcast, and that does include YouTube. There's Doug Branson, everyhornetsboxscore.com. Also, he is a producer for Yahoo Sports Daily with Jason Fitz and Caroline Fenton, and I'm Walker Mail. You can listen to me, WFNZ, every weekday from 12 to 3 p.m. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. I myself am a sicko, got a little bit of the gambling itch, and I may or may not have put a 4-leg prop parlay on the Thursday night football game happening right now. Fingers crossed. You gotta bet the birds. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about the Buzz, actually. I don't know if anybody bet the Buzz to beat the Thunder in the second preseason game of the season. Man. If you did, you would have lost. But closer game. 122-116. The Thunder do beat the Hornets. Starters got a lot more minutes this go around. Doug didn't play all that much in the first preseason game. That was more for the starters/reserves. This one, the starters played, I guess, starters minutes, preseason speaking. 26 for Diabate, 23 minutes for Brandon, 24 for Bridges, 25 for LaMelo. Tre Mann played 23. Tidjane Salaun did lead the way in minutes played at 29. Con Knippel was the only one north of 20 outside of those players at 24. Where do you want to start?
I think my overall takeaway is that the Oklahoma City Thunder decided to play their starters, and the Hornets looked good for portions of this game. But Oklahoma City, even when they're running, it seemed like kind of half or three-quarter speed for some of this game, like you didn't get really like full-on SGA in this game. I think like their defense is just so physical and executes so well, and it's so difficult to dribble drive against them. And yet the Hornets were able to hang around, and I think in large part that was due to the fact that they have so many guys now that are willing to play hard every time they step onto the floor and give full energy, particularly on the defensive end of the floor. Collin Sexton with the sexy steals, he was ripping them left and right and getting to the cup. You had Musa Diabate. I won't even start with Musa because I know you're going to wax poetic about him, so I won't even steal any Musa time.
I love him.
He was great in this game.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Con was hustling all over the place. Mason just trying to get in the groove. Mason Plumlee debuts in this one. Tre Mann was great. He gets the start in this one as Charles Lee continues to experiment, particularly at that second wing position. 18 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists in 22 minutes, 7 of 12 from the field. He was hitting from everywhere, and he was only 2 assists, but I thought his passes were clean in this too. 4 of 6 from 3. Collin Sexton, 3 of 5 from 3. LaMelo Ball, 4 of 6. So they had the 3 ball going. That kept them afloat. Look, there's a lot that this team has to work on, but at least finally, it's a team that they don't have to work on effort.
No, they do not. Not a lot of these guys anyway. And yeah, I mean, so you're right. I do want to talk about Musa Diabate because it's a day of the week, but I do also want to discuss some of the starters here. There was a lot of good. You mentioned going down the list how much you liked from Diabate, from Tre Mann coming in and playing hard. You mentioned Collin Sexton, who really got things started for the Hornets. I forget how many points he had, but he made all 4 of his field goals in the first quarter and ended up really, it was the damage that he did in the first quarter that would do the heavy lifting for everything else that he did in this one. As I'm pulling back up the box
12
here,
points. 12 points in the first quarter, and most importantly, 12 points when really no other Charlotte Hornet could get anything going. It was Sexton to start.
That was it. Yeah,
and then Tre Mann helped lead that run in the second quarter, and then LaMelo took it from him to end that second quarter on a 26-13 run that dragged them back into it and made this a competitive game, because this had a shot. I mean, really, like if you're Dagenham, what were you doing? Just play the C players, play the B players. Like that's what beats the Hornets by 20. Instead, you played your starters and allowed the Hornets to get back in it. Well, I mean, what's this guy? What does he have? What kind of coach is he?
Collin Sexton ended up with 15 on the night, but you're right, he did have 12 in the first quarter. Looking at some of the starters, what they did. So Tre Mann led all the starters in points scored and led the team with 18. LaMelo, just a cool 15 points, quick, smooth, efficient, 5 of 8 from the field. He was 4 of 6 from 3-point range. Had the nice spin move on I don't know why I put Case on there. Cason Wallace. Case on, baby.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why you did it, because of that shot that he hits. Falling out of bounds, LaMelo Ball on his back, the shot clock on his back, and Cason Wallace throws it over the backboard about 90 feet in the air, and it goes in the basket. I was like, what kind of...
Can we stop there for just a moment? It's preseason. I know. Also, one of the wilder shots that I've ever seen in my life. I don't think that's really an exaggeration.
I was stunned.
If you take away time and moment and playoffs and all of that, just degree of difficulty, given where we were in the shot clock, he throws it up. It's almost as if he transfers the energy all the way through. It's not like he picks up the basketball and has to push it again. He guides the basketball in over the backboard. It was nuts. It was one of the crazier shots.
As I was watching it happen, it was one of those, this happens in sports for me, and I don't know if this is a relatable experience. I haven't talked to a lot of people about this, but it's one of those, I'd throw the helmet catch in there. A couple of these moments in sports where time slows down, and like midway through, my brain is trying to process it. And I swear, as the shot reached its peak arc, my brain went, is that going to go in? That's going to go in. Like, it was just like, I just had time to process it, but it happened in an instant. It was remarkable. I hope it makes the top 10, even though it was against the Hornets.
Yeah, yours might bring you joy, the moments that you think of. You know what I immediately go to when you bring that up? I go to the Zach LaVine shot. Time stopped for me. Yeah. I knew it was going in, and everything stopped. There's no way he's going to do it. And Eric Collins, it was such a great call because it was as if he was calling in slow motion as well. Everything it stopped. All time stopped. That's when it went in. Let's focus on this particular loss. We have other losses we could talk about. We got plenty of them. Let's talk about this one. LaMelo, 5 of 8. We just went through there, his performance there. Okay. Just enough. All right, let's get to Diabate, who this is going to be a heavy Musa Diabate propaganda segment / show. How come every time he's on the floor, the Hornets are just a better basketball team? It's just how it works. It's how it's been. How about this, Doug? He was the leader in plus minus. He was plus 14. That matches. Just the eyeball test. It's not a perfect stat by any measure, but that matches. I decided to look up the Hornets leader in plus minus last year among players who played after the All-Star break, weren't traded, and weren't in the G League last year. Okay, so I'm just trying to get rid of the guys that played 13 games like Tre Mann, 27 like Brandon Miller, 15 like Grant Williams, or Nick Richards, Cody Martin. They didn't have enough games to rack up the minus, so they were a little bit higher than Musa. But of all the players that would essentially count, Musa, of course, led the Hornets in plus minus at, minus 123. But again, everybody who played more, the next closest to him is LaMelo at minus 130. And then you get to the other guys that played a lot, like Miles Bridges, minus 259. Just every time he's out there, they play better, which is why I understand that he has all these limitations. And I know it's rational to think that he's going to limit the Hornets offensively and he's going to limit the Hornets defensively. And yet I know all of this stuff to be true. And every time I look at the box score, every time I look at the scoreboard and he's on the floor, the Hornets just had their best quarter. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe we just continue to play that guy who continues to allow the Hornets to play their best basketball. It happened again. Just all over the place. He creates offensive opportunities by being active in stagnant half-court possessions, he created 2 buckets for Con Knipple when things stagnated, and Tre Mann by getting to the spot, getting to the offensive rebound, and kicking out to the corner. He was with, I believe it was Con Knipple in transition where he misses the layup, but nobody else would hustle back with him except for Musa, grabs the board, and then hello, they score on that possession. I love them. I'm sorry. It's a propaganda show. It's a propaganda segment. I just can't get enough of letting the Moose loose.
Yeah, he was great. And, I'm still going to stick with my prediction that at least in the early going, Mason Plumlee is going to get more starts than Musa Diabate. But I am getting closer to your position on this only because as I watch this team in the preseason, and there's still plenty of preseason to go, and then we'll see how they do in the early going in the first couple of games. But I'm becoming more convinced that their window to win is just going to be max effort from everyone and then a few guys knocking down a ridiculous number of threes. I think that's going to be their window to win. That's a pretty narrow window, but Musa Diabate is probably more a part of that window than Mason Plumlee. But I still think Lee is going to go with the guy that is just bigger. I mean, I think that's just what it's going to come down to. So we'll see.
Some nice rim protection moments from him too. Some nice rotating moments from him defensively. Hit a push shot, which is going to be really important. Found himself in kind of that tweener spot with the basketball. Couldn't pass it anywhere. He thought about it a little bit. He's like, no, I can get this shot up, and it throws it up, hits it. That's going to be really important for him. So you know me, I love Musa. Let's move on. Coming up next on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
Bees everywhere!
Let's provide more observations on this game. Still some player notes to get to. Tidjane Salaun, another ouchie game. Brandon Miller looking good, but not hitting his shots. What do we make of Brandon Miller's performance? That's still to come. LOH. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you've put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNBA. More Locked On Hornets ahead. More good moments to comb through here, Doug, if you wanted to. Again, Musa, check. LaMelo, kind of check if you wanted to get to him. Tre Mann, you talked about him just a little bit. Collin Sexton as well, going 5 of 9. Any other notes on some of those players or other players you felt had strong games?
I think LaMelo's in his groove. I'm not worried about LaMelo at all. And I'm glad they played both LaMelo and Brandon late in this game. I wrote that in my notes. Like, play these guys. Like, they've missed a ton of time early in their careers. Like, play these guys. There's no reason, if they're fully healthy, if they're 100%, there is no reason to treat these kids with kid gloves or treat these players with kid gloves. And so I'm glad that they played. And I thought LaMelo did play particularly well. And he had a couple of good defensive plays in this one.
He did. Yeah.
Weird game for Miles. 7 rebounds. Again, tied for the lead in rebounds. I think that's going to be a trend. Kalkbrenner had 7. Diabate had 7. So he did some work there, but just every time he had the ball in his hands offensively, if he was trying to create for himself or others, it wasn't working. Let's see some other play, because I really want to get to Brandon. I want to have an extended conversation about Brandon. Let's do that and then Con. So Brandon Miller, 14 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists. He was 3 of 11 from the field. He gets most of his points from the free throw line, 6 of 8, because OKC really bailed him out. You said he looked good. I mean, hair's looking good. He's a little bit stronger. I mean, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I thought this was a pretty, other than getting bailed out by OKC's defense fouling him on 3-point shots, I thought this was a miserable follow-up to a bad first outing for Brandon Miller. And I'm willing, we had the patience conversation a couple of shows ago, and I'm willing to be patient through the preseason with Brandon Miller, but this was not a good game. And I'll give you a couple of things for you to chew on, and then let you try to convince me that I shouldn't be worried. Number one, he drove the ball a couple of times, and it looked exactly like his last 2 seasons, where he gets maybe 1-2 dribbles, and then it doesn't even have to be somebody digging down or putting pressure on him. It's just the guy guarding him is able to poke it away, or he's falling to the ground. He cannot keep his dribble. And then 1 rebound. How does he only have 1 rebound in this game? If he wants to be like Paul George, in Paul George's second year in the league, he averaged 5.6 rebounds. In his third, when he was most improved player and an all-star bid, he had 7.6 rebounds per game that season. Brandon Miller cannot keep coming away from these games with and I know the minutes are not the same, but this was a problem in his rookie season, his sophomore season too. He comes away with these games with 1 or 2 rebounds. Can't happen. Got to be more active.
Yeah, looked good. You're right. Probably a little much. I would say, to me, I don't feel like his floor game was as bad as the 3 of 11. Sounds like you do, but it didn't feel like, to me, it was as bad as the 3 of 11 performance. Perhaps I go back and watch it. I didn't have as strong of feelings as you did. What I liked from Brandon was some smart bailout offense, getting fouled on the 3-point line. Now, he did miss 2 of his free throws on one of those trips to take 3 free throws, but he did get to the foul line with what I thought was some heady play from him. Did have a couple of nice dimes in this one, so getting to the foul line I thought was impressive there. I didn't think Brandon just looked as bad, I guess, as what the box score indicated from him. But you're right, 1 rebound. I will say, in terms of you being worried, I think this does go back to the last episode we had discussing Brandon, in that this is the first bit of basketball that he's playing in a very long time after that wrist injury. And we are talking about the second preseason game, but this one against a Thunder team that just won the championship that you mentioned in the first segment. They do such a great job of stonewalling drives, which this is somewhat of a bad matchup for Brandon. If he struggles at putting the ball on the deck and getting to the cup, and the Thunder do a great job of stopping that sort of thing, this probably isn't the best game for him to produce some confidence fresh off of that wrist injury playing high-level basketball. You probably would like to go against a team that didn't just win the championship and has all of the depth. So, yeah, I guess I'm with you on that. It was a strong phrase. It was a strong tease. I got a little excited about it. I understand where you're coming from. You're right in that. I just didn't think that it was as bad as maybe the 3 of 11, and it's to the point where I'm not crazy worried. We just got to get some time for him, man. It's going to take a little bit for him to cook, I imagine.
I'm not crazy worried, and I hear you on, and I'm sure there are people listening to this right now screaming preseason caveats at me right now, and I get it, and I'm with you. It's preseason. He's been a long time since he's played basketball. I get all that. At the same time, I'm looking at Con Knippel's floor game, and I'm saying to myself,
yeah, it's pretty sweet.
I'm pretty confident Con can do 2 or 3 things on offense that I'm 50-50 at best that I think Brandon can do right now. Now, Brandon just physically has the length, not necessarily the strength yet, but has the length that would say ceiling way higher than Con Knippel, right? If that game fully builds out, ceiling way higher than Con Knippel. But in this moment, there were passes that Con Knippel made. There were dribble moves into the lane, taking contact, keeping his dribble, pulling, shot fake, pull up from the middle of the paint. I'm I don't think Brandon could execute that kind of play consistently. There's just things that I've seen Con Knippel do that I'm those are pieces of what you would need your super wing to have in their game. Right now, the only thing that we've seen from Brandon is really just the ability to kind of catch and shoot on the wing and knock down a 3-point shot. And that's important. And he can do it. We know he can do that. It's just to become whatever all of these pundits and what we all desire Brandon Miller to become, we need to see more of that, and hopefully by the end of this preseason, so that the Hornets can get off to a strong start in the regular season.
Yeah, let's transition to Con. You mentioned his floor game. Totally agree. It's what I leave his games feeling the most, that the Con, is going to be all right with just understanding exactly what to do pretty much every single time. I love if he's on the corner and you don't come correct on a closeout, then it's just over for you.
He's smoking.
He's just going to... He's gonna smoke you, and you're gonna see a bunch of different things in your brain, and you're not gonna know what just happened, and it's gonna be like the Krusty Krab meme from SpongeBob, where everything is disorienting around you, and Con has already beaten you to the paint, and probably somebody is gonna be fast enough to recover, but when that happens, he's gonna make the right pass, and then Musa is gonna get another nice push shot, or he's gonna get another shot on the opposite low post block. Con is going to get to the foul line and then draw that defender in, just like he did at Duke time and time again. And then he's going to throw an alley to Ryan Kalkbrenner. Con Knippel did not shoot the ball well in this one. He was 3 of 11 from the field. He was 1 of 7 from 3. The lone 3 that he made was wide open on what was a nice around the horn sequence. But I watched Con play, and he just knows exactly what to do to maximize that team's possession if he has anything to say about it. Now, there are athletic limitations with Con. For instance, there was one time out there on the wing where the guy did come correct on a closeout, okay? So didn't blow right by him, got by him a little bit, defender recovered, had to throw up a shot late in the shot clock. So it didn't go in, tough shot, bailout offense didn't work. Okay. Still, I don't mind him being the bailout offense guy in a pinch. You want that to be reserved for LaMelo. You want that to go elsewhere, but he's showing signs. Every time I watch him, I feel comforted. Con is a warm blanket on bad decision basketball. He decides to take the fire out that way, and it's awesome to see.
Yeah, and again, back to this weird Con Brandon Miller comparison that I'm doing right now, like the athleticism that Brandon has, like in transition, the dunks that he can throw down, how high he can get over the top of someone that's trying to defend him in transition, or even in the half court sometimes. I mean, we've seen him throw down some ferocious dunks. Like, that's not coming from Con Knippel. If he gets a complete runway, Con can dunk it. But Brandon can rip someone's heart out. So yeah, like there are things that exist, a gulf between them, and yet there are some things that I've seen Con do that I'm less confident that Miller can do. And Miller needs to do all of those things if he's going to reach that sort of all NBA level that we think he can get to. A couple last things on Con. I thought he did a good job on a possession where he was up against Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's difficult for everyone in this league. It doesn't matter if you're a 10-year veteran or a rookie. And he was guarding him, stayed in front, and Shai tried to pull that sort of grift that he's so good at. And I don't say that in a derogatory way. He finds a way to get to the free throw line, which makes him a super efficient offensive player. And he tried it on Con, and Con got those arms back. He knew, like, that's scouting, that's IQ, that's knowing the matchup, knowing what the guy's going to do. And he anticipated it and was able to not only prevent himself from fouling, but then also stay in front of SGA long enough to make him move the basketball. So, yeah, there's so much to be excited with Con Knippel. There's so much to be excited with Tre Mann, Collin Sexton.
Yeah.
And then, like, we put that over here and then say to yourself, LaMelo has not really even turned it all the way up to 11 yet. He seems to be he's just kind of getting into his groove. And then Brandon, if he can shake whatever this is, rust, trust, I don't know what it is, but if he can shake it, you know, the Hornets are going to be able to outscore some people on a given night.
Must? Is it stinky?
It could be a little must. Yeah, must, rust, crust. I don't know what it is, man. It's not good. It's not looking good. And I know, look, I've been watching him, like 1.25 years. Like, I've watched him very closely. The guy is capable of great things, and I'm just hoping that it shows up sooner rather than later.
All right, coming up next on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
Bees everywhere!
I think there are 2 more players we should highlight. You can find out who those 2 players are coming up in the next segment, and then we'll answer a Sicko Satchel question. Final segment, LOH. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win with this NFL season. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it gives me so many ways to play. You can build parlays, you can try player props, even follow the live lines during those games. And it makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. More Locked On Hornets ahead. Two more players I think we should highlight real quickly. We should highlight Tidjane Salaun, and I think we should highlight Ryan Kalkbrenner. So Tidjane played the most minutes of anybody in this game. The roughest shooting night via volume and percentage. 2 of 11 from the field. He missed all 6 of his three-point attempts. Did grab 10 rebounds. He was the leading board getter, and he only scored 6 points. Did have a couple blocks, 3 turnovers, 4 personal fouls. Did not have any assists. Tidjane also just it's rough. It's a rough watch for Tidjane. I don't know. This was a terrible game. Both shooting and I thought so. Like I like the rebounds. I like that he brings all the effort. I just when you have a conversation about Khan knowing what to do every possession, and then you have a guy like Tidjane who he's not the warm blanket. I don't know what's going to happen wherever he is on the floor. It's still just going to take a lot of time, and we're going to have to practice the patience that we preached when they selected him 6th overall, and it was the time to take one of those risks in a draft that nobody considered weak, and there wasn't a surefire pick at that spot. I think you're seeing more evidence of that here in the second preseason game, kind of like you did in the first one, and kind of like you did the last Summer League game that he participated in.
It's kind of impressive. So his game score was 0.7, and he had 3 stocks. So he had 2 blocks and 1 steal. It's kind of, when you have 3 stocks and your game score is at 0.7, that's honestly impressive. But it's because the shooting was so horrific, and he did get to the line. How many times did he get to the line? Just 2 of 3. So at least he was making some of his free throws. Defensively, it's weird. Like he makes good plays, and then he will foul, and he got completely roasted and toasted by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Like he was playing with him like a cat toy.
And that's SGA, right?
Yeah, that's
right.
SGA. But he gets targeted. Like guys go after him on defense. So like I'll find myself going, oh, that was a good defensive play. And then like after 5 straight possessions of him being put on defense, I'm like, okay, this is clearly, they know that, all right, if we go at him enough, we're going to find some success here. Like he has to play defense a lot when he's on the floor. But yeah, I mean, I did see some good things from him, but you have to wonder. You said he played the most minutes, and you have to wonder if like that's a function of, all right, we need to see what Tidjane can do here. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to throw him out here and just give him every opportunity to succeed or fail, and then make our evaluation there. And we said it a show or 2 ago. Like if Tidjane's not hitting shots, particularly from 3, it's very difficult to justify keeping him on the floor because he has the. I don't know if it's a skill issue or if it's a yips issue, but man, he gets close to the basket. There was a transition play where God love Collin Sexton, man. It was a 2v2 with him and Tidjane and 2 OKC defenders. And Sexton, he's so good at being patient on those transition plays and driving. You think, okay, he has to take the shot, right? And he gets them all the way down to the baseline, draws both of those defenders, and then throws just the niftiest pass to Tidjane, who has all the room in the world to put, and he almost smokes the bunny. He taps it back in, and I thought, thank God he tipped it back in, because I'm pretty sure Collin Sexton would have murdered him on the floor if he did not, after all the work that Sexton did to set that transition play up. That's a scary man. You do not want to let that man down. Tidjane, man, it's a struggle almost everywhere on the floor. I don't know what happens here. This is weird
it's
territory
the very beginning. it's not even the very beginning of the second. It's pre-beginning of the second season. This is what happens with these raw guys, is that we're okay watching you improve your rookie season, which he did. We should remind ourselves of that. He absolutely improved the second half of last year. That happened. We could see the wheels turning. We could see him processing in real time. And it's not been a great watch in the first 2 preseason games, but we're going to have to continue to be patient with him, even if it gets harder and harder the further along we go.
Yeah, the issue, I think, was with young guys, and you see improvement in the back half of years, particularly when they're on bad teams. It's because a lot of the times the competition level isn't real. The games aren't real. And so that's part of the issue. And then if games do become real, like say in the first half of a season when everybody's kind of playing at full strength and playing each other somewhat hard at the beginning of the season, then all of a sudden you're like, what happened to the guy that was great in the back half? Well, because that wasn't real. So that's one problem. The second problem is that they do end the season with momentum, and then they go into the off season and there's this whole plan to skill up. Okay, we're going to add this. You got to start doing this and And so you add all of this stuff, and then it's almost like kind of going back to square one a little bit, where it's like, all right, now I've got to like focus on this thing and this thing and this thing. And all of a sudden the guy who like had everything sort of like, I know exactly what I'm doing. I know exactly where to be. Now there's like 10 different places where I'm supposed to be now. And so it looks rough again. And so maybe, he steadies the ship a little bit, but right now it doesn't look good.
Have those whispers of Giannis gotten further away from the microphone? Did it used to be Giannis, and now it's Giannis? Is that what it is for you? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it a little further away? Okay.
Yeah, well, they were only whispers, so I don't know what's quieter than a whisper.
Yeah.
A silent but deadly fart. I mean, we're heading towards that.
Damn.
We're heading towards that territory. We're not there yet, but we're heading towards that territory, and that's difficult because he's making a lot of money, because he's on that first round pick, top 10 money. So it all the evaluations become different, and that's when you're going to take when you're going to take a swing on an 18-year-old in the 6th pick, that has to be the consideration, because people go, well, he's only such and such years old, and it's like, yeah, but he still has to skill up quickly, because if he doesn't, the money doesn't make sense anymore.
Kalkbrenner thoughts before we end today's show?
I thought he got put into some good position. I think he's going to have to go to Greensboro. Like, I think they're going to go into this season with Diabate and with Mason and be fine with that, and let Kalkbrenner figure some things out in Greensboro. I mean, I think there's some good stuff in his game, but I think overall, you can't have him out there for 20 plus minutes in real game situations and expect to be successful. I don't think. Now.
Players are finishing against him. They're going in his body. I do think that he is contesting. I actually thought he contested quite well in this one, but they are finishing against him as well. So this seems like one of those games where you measure rim deterrence from field goal percentage allowed at the rim. I think rim deterrence is still decent, but the ladder wasn't very good. I don't know what the stats would be on that one, but it just felt like Jalen Williams got the and one. Was it Youngblood that hit another shot against him? Not quite sure, but it was towards. He will not.
I'm tired of the OKC Thunder, by the way. I'm done. I'm done with these guys. Like Youngblood,
they're in the West.
Wiggins, Gortman, whatever a Gortman is. I was like, no, it's Lou Dort, right? No, it's Gort. It's Gortman. They just have orts just everywhere. They're growing orts in OKC. I'm so tired of this team, particularly the B and the C team.
Those are they have stalwarts. That's what they have all over the place.
God.
Yeah, I'm done with them too. They can go back to the West Coast. We can come back to our nice little East, and we can play basketball there. Okay, no sicko satchel time, but that's all right. That's a good basketball conversation on the second preseason game. We'll give you one more episode before we end the week. It's Locked On Hornets.
Maybe a full satchel episode though, because we got a lot. Yeah. And people did put it. They did take the time. So we just covered a lot of that preseason game. I'm not sure that we even have anything left over. So I think we go a little full Satch Friday episode.
Did you want to touch on Musa anymore? Did you want to talk about him anymore? That's just a joke, because I'm saying I could talk about him all the time. You said you didn't know if you could talk about anything.
I'm not fighting you on this one. Like, I thought he had an excellent game, and if he strings look, if he plays at this level, and maybe Mason takes his time, sort of getting back into game shape after having missed training camp. Again, I'm not discounting the idea that Musa could grab that starting spot to start the year. And once a guy gets a starting spot, then it's sort of like it's theirs, and they gotta play themselves out of it. And I'm not sure Musa is going to play himself out of a spot.
To be clear, that was not anything where I thought you were arguing. That was not a QB kneel. That was not an arm cross podcast QB kneel. That was me taking advantage of. I don't think we have anything else to talk about with that second preseason game. I was like, wait, we could always talk about Musa. That was the joke, because I do want to pretty much all the time, but we can move on anyways. I want to get to the sicko satchel.
My QB kneel was before he missed training camp, before Mason missed training camp. This was like, I tried to do the QB kneel and someone jumped over the line and smashed me, and I fumbled. But that, I couldn't anticipate that was going to happen. But we'll see. I might recover the fumble if Mason, finishes the preseason strong. I don't know.
All right. It's a live ball right now. We'll see if Doug or Musa Diabate jumps on it. That'll do it. All right. We'll get to another Sicko Satchel episode the next time we hop on the mic. Doug Branson, everyhornetsboxscore.com, also produces Yahoo Sports Daily. Go check it out. Go help that endeavor out. Jason Fitz, Caroline Fenton. I'm Walker Mail. Listen to me, WFNZ, every weekday from 12 to 3 p.m. on Wes and Walker, 92.7 FM. Have a great rest of your day. We'll be back with you tomorrow.